spun into wool.
Yeah.
How cool is
No,
that?
it said that she's not an Angora. She might be an Angora cross.
Oh,
or
yeah.
a
Her
Dakota.
fur's
Hi, y'all. Welcome to the 31st episode of the Yarn Junkie podcast. My name is Amber, and if this is your first time checking me out, thanks so much for joining me. If you're a returning viewer, you know this is my podcast about my fiber obsession. I am a knitter, crocheter, weaver, spinner, all-around fiber extraordinaire. So I have quite a bit to show you guys, it seems. I'm just going to jump right in. I've got 2 cows currently going on. I am co-hosting the Fine and Dandy Cowl with Jacqueline of the Brooklyn Knit Folks podcast. And this design is by Jess of the Sweater Co. And it is a textured toe-up sock pattern. It is my first toe-up sock. And I have had quite some struggles with this. I mentioned several times last week that I sometimes get ahead of myself on reading patterns, and that was the case on this. I had several false starts, so I'm going to give you my Fine and Dandy 4.0 or 4.20 because I've started so many times, guys. It's ridiculous. But I'm finally really happy with them. I decided to do a contrasting toe. If you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen this picture. I had about up to here knit, all in green. Decided I didn't really like that, and then ripped it back to the toe and then put pink in. Decided I didn't like the stitches with pink. Ripped it completely out, knit the toe in the Villain colorway that I showed y'all last week. This is Hedgehog Fibers, and it is 8010 superwash merino nylon in colorway Villain, and it's their sock yarn. It's really super soft and squishy. And then the green is my the Fawn Knits yarn. The Fawn and the Fox, I think, is what her Etsy shop is named. Sorry, bear with me. Yeah, the Fawn and the Fox is her Etsy shop, which I've talked about my yarns before for these. And that is what the textured stitch pattern is. And then I had to work the book fair at the school on Monday, and I took these with me because I was like, perfect. I was somewhere around here, and I thought, oh, I'll just knit those. I knit too many rows. I actually contacted my friend Katrina of the Cat's Kettle podcast, who's now recording again regularly. So welcome back, Katrina. It's so wonderful to be able to watch you and get caught up with you and what you've been doing. So I messaged her and I was like, oh, I should have started the heel increases a while back, huh? So I wrote back again. Guys, this yarn has gotten so much abuse, and it is still knitting up so beautifully. It's not pilly at all, which was kind of my concern because I seriously ripped back so many times. But I really like that I put the pink in. Can you see it brings out, Laura dyed this just beautifully. It's got so many different depths of color. Dark green and little shots of pink and orange and blue and just like a meadow. It reminds me of a spring meadow. These socks make me so happy. And I started the heel, which is like a wrap stitch heel. And I've done the Bird of Happiness, so I feel like I've got the wrap stitches down. For some reason, I can't wrap my head around this heel. And I've knit 5 or 6 rows and then ripped it back because I was unhappy with how it looked. And it's just gappy on the sides, and I get holes easy in my socks anyway, and so I don't want any gaps. I'm rough on my socks, y'all. I walk a lot, and I have concrete floors. So it's just, I want a good heel. I want a good heel on my sock. But I've done all that, so that is quite a bit of work in a week with everything else that I've been doing, especially considering I've ripped them back so many times. I feel like if I had not had ripped them back at all, I'd be done by now. And I could, Carlenergy of the Made with Carlenergy podcast said that the second will go like that. So or maybe it was Katrina that said that. I can't remember. I've been chatting with both of them on Instagram because they're knitting them too. Like I said, so many people are knitting them, and it makes me so happy that I picked a pattern that so many other people are excited about knitting, and I love seeing the hashtag on Instagram, and I've been hearting everyone's pictures, and I just love all the people, the different colorways people have chosen. It's been really nice to do this cowl. So sorry, I'm gonna take a sip. Be sure to post your progress pics and your FOs in my group, because Jess of the Sweater Co. donated a prize. It's not here yet, but when it's here, I will post it in the group and show it on the podcast. So, also, I did want to say, forgive me if I'm not saying your name right. Celia? One of my Instagram followers and someone who is quite active in the group actually gave the tip to use a crochet hook. So that's what I've been doing for these little stitches that you have to pick up and put on your needle. That way they're nice and even. And I've really enjoyed that. It is kind of fiddly, but it's one row every, so often. And it flies by. I feel like the second one is going to knit itself now that I know exactly what to do, kind of. I haven't gotten through the heel yet, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. It was in timeout yesterday. I knit quite a bit on the heel and couldn't work it out, and ripped it back several times and just finally said, you're going in timeout. And then I did start my Mother's Day shawl. I'm hosting this knit along with the Naughty Knitwits ladies, Michelle and Leslie of the Naughty Knitwits podcast. Offered to host this cowl or co-host this cowl with me. And I was saying no whips, but now that I'm thinking about it, there are so many other shawl cows going on. My hair's crazy. It's really early in the morning. I'm still in my pajamas, actually. There are so many other cows going on that I thought maybe I will allow whips if you just have, 10% done or something, not like half done, because it is a 2-month knit along. So I think I'll allow whips. I think I'll change all the posts that I made to allow whips. But I started this. I posted a picture on Instagram of just this littlest sliver of a cast-on shawl. And then I realized one of my needles felt a lot different than the other. And it's because these are my interchangeable carbons. I had a 5 on one side and a 2.5 on the other. So I ripped that back. I did several rows like that. And then I finally realized that it was wrong. So I ripped it completely out, and I'm going to restart it. But I was so excited to begin, and I think I might. This may be a little ambitious, but I love beading so much. I wore my Potter shawl this weekend. I should have put that on my ensemble for this weekend. I wore my Potter shawl this weekend to Fiber Fest, and it's got beads on it. I just love beads on a shawl. So I'm thinking of beading the pine trees. Maybe. We'll see. Or maybe putting where the pearl bumps are on the shawl, putting little blue beads or white beads to look like snowflakes. That would be cool too. That's to be decided. But I'm co-hosting this cowl with the lovely ladies of the Naughty Knitwits, and Michelle cracked me up on her last podcast. She was giving my husband a really hard time because he was knocking shawls and he was making fun of the way I spoke because I'm gonna take a drink. I've got like a tickle. Sorry. He told me I was saying skein wrong. He said it was skein. Well, Michelle and Leslie said it was skein, and a couple of other people actually messaged me and said it was skein as well. Google, I don't know why I didn't think to Google. Google settles so many arguments in the Junkie household, let me tell you that. My husband and I are very much opposites. It's like Dharma and Greg in this house. I am whimsical and flighty and excited, easily excited, and he's just very laid back and not easily excited and just unamused and very conservative, especially in the way he dresses and the way he speaks to people. He's very filtered, and yeah, we're just a lot different. We're a lot different. I often put my foot in my mouth. You would never catch him doing that. He weighs what he says before he says it. Anyhow. The whole point to all of that is he's wrong. And Google settles many arguments on our house because we're like, okay, well, we're not going to stand here and argue about it for 10 minutes. We'll just Google it and prove who's right. So I don't know what people did back before there was Google. I feel really bad for them. If my kid asks me something, I have no idea, but let's Google it. I don't know how often I said that. I have learned so much more from Google than I ever did in school, ever. So there's that. But she's right. It is skein, and he's wrong. And she said that he wasn't allowed to tell me what to knit because he's been just scoffing at shawls. He thinks they're kind of useless, but I don't think so. Like I've said, I'm cold. You don't always need a sweater. Sometimes a shawl is better, especially if you live in the South like I do. You don't need this whole by the way, this sweater, I live in this. I bought this for $7 at Walmart, and I bought it huge because it was just going to be my house sweater. I love it so much. I want to knit one exactly like it, and it is. It's an extra large size, and I'm like a small medium. Anyway, love this sweater. That was my point, and it's a fingering weight sweater. Shawls are the jam. We're knitting a Mother's Day shawl, cowl, scarf, wrap, whatever you want to knit for your mom or for a mother-like figure. Leslie even mentioned that some people are estranged from their moms. I can relate to that, actually. My mom and I didn't have the best time. Throughout my childhood, she just made a lot of mistakes. And I'm not knocking her. I mean, everyone makes mistakes. They affected my life horribly, but that's, again, I am a better person for the things that I went through. So I was estranged from her for 2 years. When Atrella was very small, I felt that her influence over my life was harmful to my family because it stressed me out so much to be around her and her poor lifestyle choices. Even now, I'm estranged from my brother and sister for the same reasons. I love my family, but there's only so much that I can tolerate, and I'm not being judgmental. However, I want my daughters to have good influences in their life and positive people, and if your family doesn't coincide with that, if your extended immediate family, the people that you grew up with, are damaging and toxic to your family that you've created, your husband, your children, then you have to be able to stand up and say, this isn't working, this relationship isn't working for me, I'm sorry, I love you. If at any time you're in a better place, I would love for you to be able to be a part of my family now, but it's a hard stand to make. It truly is. It was difficult for me to do with my mom. A lot of my other family members didn't understand it and thought I was really selfish and cruel, but I did what was best for me, and my mom in the end understood that, and we did. Before she died, she actually remarried, and her husband was a pivotal person in us healing and getting past a lot of the hurt. And she, recognized exactly where her stumbling blocks were, and came to terms with that. And I got counseling, and I'm not going to bore you guys with all that, but Leslie had mentioned some people are estranged from their mom. And that's not to say that you don't have a mother person in your life that you can knit for. It doesn't have to be a blood relation. It can be a lady at your church that you admire, or think that she's a great mother, or a lady in your community if you don't attend church. It can be anybody. If you're a mother, even if you have dogs or cats that you're a mother to, that counts. My dogs sometimes require far more care than my children. I have really responsible, easygoing kids, and my dogs require a lot more care than them. So I consider you a fur. If you're a fur mama, you're a mama. Knit yourself a shawl. You deserve it. Treat yourself. And I just want to thank all those people that reached out last week with my crying. I'm not going to apologize about that because there are so many people that said you shouldn't. And you're so right. I mean, I miss my mom, and it's hard, and there's just so many times where I just want to call her. Call her when I'm upset, call her when I'm excited. I wanted to call her and tell her I got a job. She would have been so excited for me. I wanted to call her on my way to DFW Fiber Fest and talk about how excited I was to meet some friends. It's just hard. I mean, it's just really hard. So if you still have your mother in your life, definitely appreciate that. Even if y'all are estranged, think about the ways that being able to stand up for yourself has improved your quality of life, because that is a difficult step to make. So I'm going to stop talking about that now. I'm going to stop it right here for easy upload use, and when I come back, we will talk about some other stuff I've got going on. Be right back. I'm back. So I have a bag giveaway going on in my group. The lovely Molly of Molly Klein Designs donated this bag to me, and I decided to use it for a giveaway for you guys. So the prompt in the group is, tell me about a time that you felt loved, because this knitting community has just poured their hearts out to me and sent me so many wonderful things. I wanted to spread the love. That is such a fun thread. If you are feeling blue or down about anything, go read that thread. It is so uplifting and sweet. And so I just have this bag, this lovely soft seahorse fabric, awesome handle. I love this, like, it's a blue. It's showing up purple, but this zipper is more blue with a blue polka dot inner. So this is, I would say, a shawl size, small sweater size. I'll put a couple of skeins of yarn in here. Very roomy and nice and perfect for summer. I love this bag. I love it. I love it. Love it. And she's actually got so many cute fabrics in her shop, and all her bags are under $20, guys. And they're so well made. I mean, you should go get one of her bags. She's got some awesome prints in her shop, and if you want, go to my group and just write down a time that you felt loved. I'm going to lock this thread. Today is Thursday, April 7th. I will lock it tomorrow. I already have quite a bit of entries, and it's been open for a few weeks. So if you can get in, if you watch this by chance and you can get in on that, then just tell me about a time you felt loved, and you can be entered to win this bag and also a soap from my friend Sherry, who has a farm very local to me, and she makes this soap from her goats. So this is goat milk soap. I can't remember the scent, but I'll write it down before I send it out. So I'm going to do a soap with this bag. And yeah, if you're interested in winning that, thank you so much to Molly for donating. Be sure to check out her shop. Like I said, you cannot beat a project bag for less than $20 when it's this well made. Like, girl's crazy. Charge more. Charge more. Your time deserves it. I've heard so many bag makers talk about how, I've never made a bag, so I can't attest to this, but I've heard so many people talk about how time-consuming bags are, and I mean, this is really, really well made. So, love it. Love it, love it, love it. And it's lightly lined, so it's floppy, but it does stand up on its own with yarn in it. Thank you, Molly. And I'm gonna set this over here. Next up, what else do I have? Oh, I want to talk about this too, sorry. This is the bag that I plan to donate to the Mother's Day Shawl Along prize. I thought this is perfect for the Mother's Day because it's floral and springtime, and this was donated by my awesome viewer, Sonia. Her daughter made this bag, and again, it is very well made. And my friend Marcia sent me this in a swap, and I thought that was just too pretty. I'm gonna leave that on there. But it's got polka dots on the inside too. Lovely bag, and I would say this is a larger size, definitely a small sweater, a large shawl, very well made bag with an attachable bit on the side. So that is for the Mother's Day Shawl Along, so be sure to post your pictures in the FO thread when I open that. What else? I've been doing some spinning. I'm going to very quickly show you this. This was a sample that I got from the spinning box. Back in the summer, I bought a spinning box. They're only like $50, and you get so much fiber to try out from different people. So I just spun this as a single, and it is a mixture of fiber. I mean, it was silk and wool and Firestar. I can't remember all the... I'm going to use this as mermaid hair for Atrella, a mermaid. I made her one. You saw the one I made for Prudence just recently for her birthday. I made a Atrella one a few years ago with mostly acrylic yarns, and she let the dogs rip it apart because she left it out. And I told her I wouldn't make her another, but she, ever since Prudence has gotten hers, she's been begging and begging and begging and promising that she'll always leave it on her bed. So I'm thinking for the stuffy along that the Legacy Knit ladies are hosting, and also to double dip and enter into Vegan Julie's The Knitting Broomstick. Sorry, Julie. She's Vegan Julie on Ravelry and Instagram and everywhere else. But the Knitting Broomstick is hosting a Harry Potter cowl, which is Mermaid of the Black Lake. Perfect, right? Yeah. So that will be hair. It's crazy and it's well balanced. But I'm not in love with it, and it's a single, and I don't really want to ply it. I just wanted to be done with it, so. But it's okay. It's okay. It's not the best. And then I also did a whole braid of fiber. So I turned this into this. I got 2 of these at the last hurrah of the Mad Tosh sale when they were closing. I got 2 of these thinking I would spin it and make something really awesome. I'm not thinking that anymore because I didn't do the greatest job spinning it. Still not an awesome, it's not great consistency. Can't say awesome. Sorry, Michelle. I fail. Don't count my points off. So again, it's well balanced, and this one is plied. I just spun half the braid and then spun the other half and then plied it together. And again, it's not a high twist yarn. It's very loosely spun. I think it would be really beautiful. I saw a shawl this weekend called the Loop Shawl by Casapinka. I think it would be really pretty with that, as with a contrasting commercial yarn. And then this is the shawl is a circular shawl, and it has stockinette sections. So that would be the darker, like a gray or a black contrasting. And then this is, there's a loop stitch every, I want to say it's probably 7 or 8 rows stockinette, and then there's this really pretty loop stitch. It's this textured stitch pattern. I think that would look amazing with this, and that's what I'll probably use it for. And I think I have enough yardage. I want to say this is a little over 100 yards. I washed it with Tough Woolens. It smells so good. No smell-o-vision. But I was really happy with this. I mean, I wasn't overly ecstatic with it, but just because it's kind of underspun. No pattern necessary. Got my hand spun cowl. Yeah. So I was happy to get through a whole braid of fiber though. I started this for the craft for 20 in February and just sort of fizzled out on that, and then finally sat down. These past couple of weeks I've been really inspired to spin since I've been visiting my friend Sherry at her farm so much, and she just got a Kromsky Sonta. I love her wheel. I think I'm going to sell that guy and get one of those. It's actually my height, so it's comfortable to spin at, and I spin beautifully on her wheel, and she's so jealous, and I assure her that I spun rope like her when I started out, and I'm still like, I don't think that she should be jealous of this. I've seen so many hand spinners that I'm just like mind blown. What else? Oh, I guess I can talk about my DFW Fiber Fest haul now. No, let me talk about my exploration station just briefly, because I talk about this all the time. I'm sure you guys are sick of seeing it, but look, I started the brioche, and thankfully, I put in a lifeline because I need to rip it out. So what I did, it was really easy, and I was like, this is so nice, and I just really like the movements of the brioche stitch. But then I realized I did it backwards, because once I got to the end of one row, you're supposed to go back here and then knit the same thing. I did it from here on the wrong side, because again, reading comprehension problems, not paying attention problems, I don't know what problems, but look at that. So I'm gonna rip this out, probably fix it tomorrow morning before I go to work. I work Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I love my job as a hostess at a restaurant. It's the best. I can talk to people and be out in the world and miss my kids, and it's a lot of fun. I like it. I like it a lot. I'm glad that I'm not a waitress, because I don't think my joints could tolerate carrying the trays. I think I've mentioned that before. It's really hard. It was a lot easier when I was in my 20s doing it. So yes, I went to DFW Fiber Fest. It was kind of a letdown. I think Stitches was a much bigger venue. There just wasn't as many vendors. The booths weren't as large for the vendors that were there. I remember the Madeline Tosh booth was probably double the size. A couple of the other booths I remember being double the size at Stitches, Texas in September. So that was kind of a letdown. I went and tried to get some more of this yarn. It was sold out. I was so sad. Here comes my husband. I'm gonna stop it right here. I'll be right back. I'm back. He is back outside. He'll probably come in. If you hear him, I'm sorry. Anyhow, so I went to DFW Fiber Fest. It was not as exciting, I felt, as Stitches. It was a little bit more because I got to meet so many cool people, but Stitches was just a bigger venue and I had more to choose from, it felt. Atrella was sick. Wah, wah. She had a fever, so she didn't go, and I was so sad. I was so sad that she didn't go. She didn't wear her socks. She didn't wear my daybreak. It was sad, and I actually had a couple people ask where she was, and I told her that when I got home, and it made her feel so special. So I was kind of bummed, because I do like to share my love of crafting with my daughters, and I like to try to do something individually with them so they feel special, and that was like mine and Atrella's thing to go do, and we didn't get to do it, which is kind of sad. But I met Maureen of Simply More Crafts. That was really exciting. She's a lovely lady. I also met Brittany of the Sip and Stitch podcast, and she gave me minis. And I just want to point out a sticker on here, and then also crinkles. This is so adorable. I've got to get behind this because she has a card. So she is Dragonfly, the knitting enthusiast, podcaster, Holly's mom, and roller derby girl. And I've talked about her before. It's so kick-ass that she's into roller derby. I would do that if I had a league near me. Actually, I say that, and then I hear her stories of being injured and stuff, and I'm kind of a wuss. I say that I'm not, and I'm like tough as coffin nails, but I'm not. I'm kind of a wuss, and I don't want to get hurt. Full contact sport, it's kind of scary. So Sip and Stitch podcaster, Brittany Buckner, YouTube Sip and Stitch knitter. Ravelry is DFLAB, Instagram at DFLAB, and then that's just, isn't that cute? Holly's mom, that's her dog, her little chihuahua. See, I told you, if you like a fur mama, that's cool, man. You should knit yourself a shawl, Brittany. I actually enabled both her and Maureen to get a gradient set of optic fiber yarns. So that was a lot of fun to go shopping with them in the marketplace and to hang out with them. And I love these minis that she gave me. I also met Diane of the book. Suburban Stitcher. She was in the mustache booth, and she had these, she makes gorgeous project bags. Go check out her Etsy. I never get like the awesome fabrics that speak to me. She had these bluebonnet project bags. Her and a couple of the other ladies that were working in that booth were all knitting out of their bluebonnet project bags. I was like, where can I get one of those? I can't, because, she sells out like that of her amazing project bags with her super pretty prints. She's just awesome. I love chatting with her. I met her originally at Stitches and then saw her again, so that was nice. She asked about Atrella, and hi Diane. I watch her podcast, and I just love her. She's such a sweet lady. And then also Stacy of Mustache Yarns. She takes the time to talk to you. And I mean, she's like this big name dyer. Everyone wants her yarn. It's sold out at a Fiber Fest, for crying out loud. Several of her colorways were. And she's just such a gracious, generous, kind-hearted person. And it's just, I love knitters. I also met a couple of viewers, La Jolla girl and her daughter. Was it your daughter? Or maybe your daughter? If it's not your daughter, forgive me. If it's your friend, I don't remember. But Sweet Yarns, her and her husband were there knitting. We all got pictures together. Hopefully I've inserted those into the either the intro or at the end. I'll have to steal them on my phone and upload those, because that was just so much fun to be recognized and to get a hug from a viewer. And that was the only person that did that. It was like, oh my gosh, it's Yarn Junkie. That was exciting. And I also met Jeanette of the Bookish Stitcher and Robin of Stitching Between Pages at the podcaster meetup, and that was just really exciting and fun. And what else? Who else did I meet? If I met you and I'm leaving you out, I'm sorry. I saw a couple of my old friends from Knit Night. That was cool. Yeah, it was just really exciting. I did not follow my plan at all. My plan went out the window as soon as I met up with Brittany and Maureen. We went over to the mustache booth, and they started buying yarn, so I started buying yarn. I had only been down one row of vendor hall, and my rule is to go around everywhere before I buy anything to make sure that's what I want. I didn't do that. They were buying yarn, so of course I was like, well, what the heck. And we were in the mustache booth, so let me dig around in my sack for a second, sorry. I should have had this organized. This, and, where are you? Found it, okay. Oh, I have to show you this too. This is the best thing ever. So I was contacted by the organizers of the people of DFW Fiber Fest. I have no idea. Somebody on Ravelry messaged me and earburned me in the DFW Ravelry group to say, was I interested in the podcaster meetup, and could they put my name on the roster or whatever? And I was like, heck yes. And they gave me a media badge, because I'm official. Look at that. And that's my Ravelry name. Ambrosia is what I have on Facebook, because that's what my mom called me when I was really little. But it's way cooler than Amber. But I'm official. That was just really cool. So like I said, we went to the mustache booth first. I was with Maureen and Brittany. And this is the special colorway that I was so excited about last time. And then I realized how much I lack comprehension skills and when someone's saying something. So it's not 11sies, it's 11s, because it was the 11th year of the DFW Fiber Fest. So she dyed this special for DFW Fiber Fest, the 11th, so it's 11s. And when you knit it up, the blue stripes make an 11. And that didn't excite me nearly as much as the Hobbit-themed idea of yarn. However, I felt like this was still really special, and it was for DFW, and it's also very patriotic. And I thought it would be perfect for July socks, 4th of July socks, right? 4th of July is a huge deal here where I live out at the lake. There's like a mega fireworks show. If you go online and Google Hell's Gate at Possum Kingdom, 4th of July, you will see beautiful pictures, and there's actually a waterfall. Seriously, Google it. I'm sure there's pictures. I haven't actually Googled it myself, but I mean, it's Google. Come on, right? Yeah. Anyway, 4th of July is a huge deal, and who doesn't want to knit socks? I promised myself before I went, no purple, no green yarn. Don't buy a lot of sock yarn because you have a lot of sock yarn that you need to knit through. So green sock yarn. Yeah, I failed, guys. I totally failed every plan that I had. But this is called Beetlejuice. I actually wanted this when we went to Stitches, but I didn't want to be greedy, and I was already getting 2 skeins of her yarn, so I passed this one up for that one and Koi Pond that I still haven't knit yet. But so when I saw this, it was the last skein, and so many of her other colorways were sold out. I was like, well, maybe I should wait, and that's when I decided, no, I can't wait. I just need to go ahead and get the yarn I'm going to get from her right now before this one's gone, because Beetlejuice, and it's like a green. You can see that green. Oh my God. It's my favorite, y'all. It's green stripes with black and white stripes, so the worm thing that eats Beetlejuice. Yeah. I'm a movie fangirl. You will see that coming because I had a movie date at DFW Fiber Fest. And this is also special to Stacy of Mustache, Texas Sunshine from Tuft. This is her signature scent. I had to pick this up. And I love this. I have the patchouli. I just bought it. And it's the best hand balm, really. It like absorbs into your skin, so there's no residual after at all. Oh, it smells so good. It smells so good, like Texas Sunshine. Okay, so that's what I got from Stacy. Love her yarn. What else? The next thing that I bought, again, I did not go in order, but I will try to go in the order that I purchased things. So I'm going to sort some of this right quick so we can do this more fluidly. The next yarns that I picked up were, what did I get next? Okay, so I'm pretty sure this was my next purchase. I was just looking around, and I'm a sucker for self-striping yarn. Sock yarn is my jam, so why deny myself the pleasure of green sock yarn? And I know that the dyer, when I was eyeing this up, I immediately looked at the colorway and squealed. And she said, everyone seems to think it's Christmas yarn. This is not Christmas yarn. If you're a horror fan, you know this is Freddy Krueger yarn, guys. This is Freddy, okay? I just bought a pair of commercial socks this past Halloween that are green and red stripes because Freddy Krueger is the most horrific person in my life. I had so many nightmares. I sung the Freddy song so many times as a child. And it has a heel and toe, which made me so excited because I'm really jamming out with doing the contrasting on my Fine and Dandy socks. So I had to pick this up. I actually walked away and thought about it for a second, and then I was like, you know what? Why am I even thinking about it? It's Freddy Krueger yarn. Like, I need it. And it's green. Green sock yarn. What is wrong with me? So I failed 2 times. Sock yarn that's green. You like what you like. That's what Stacy was saying. Because I was telling her how hard of a time I give myself because I need to branch out more. I need to get different colors. But she said you like what you like. And I love red. And I love green. And I love sock yarn. So, oh well. I also got, let me say this was the next thing. So I knew that I wanted a gradient. Jenny from Tiny Paper Foxes knit the Stripe Studies shawl. And I'm sorry if you can hear my husband talking and being distracting, but there's nothing I can do about that. He's in his office, which is right upstairs, and I'm right downstairs. I'm going to take this off because I'm burning up now. I wanted to get a gradient. Jenny knit the color striped study shawl, and as soon as I saw that, I was immediately looking at all the yarn shops and all the gradients online and couldn't really find something that I was settled with. Knew I wanted to look around at DFW for a gradient. Saw several. Fiber Optic Yarns was there, had a booth. They had so many gradients. Like I said, I enabled Brittany and Maureen to pick up their gradients from them. But, you know, I'm a sucker for a name. So I had to get this one. Let me see if I can. And it is called, and I know it's not exactly a gradient, but it is called Sweeney Todd. I'm telling you guys, I had a movie day. I've got Beetlejuice, I've got Freddy Krueger, and now I've got Sweeney Todd. And isn't that going to be the most awesome shawl? And I thought that I would go this way, because that's how the movie goes. And another reason why I decided on this instead of the fiber optics, I believe the fiber optic kit was like 450-ish, around their yardage. This one is 600 yards. And it was also a little bit cheaper. It's 90-10 superwash merino nylon. Or it actually just says merino nylon. It doesn't say superwash, so it might not be. It's Vice Yarns, and it's the Sweeney Todd gradient. Sweeney freaking Todd is one of my all-time favorite movies. Johnny Depp is one of my all-time favorite actors. I love musicals. I used to hate musicals with a passion. When I was younger, I thought musicals were ridiculous. I really did not enjoy watching them at all. And then as I got older, my senses came to me because musicals are the best thing since sliced bread. I have a lot of soundtracks that I listen to in the car from musicals. Musicals are my jam. So I want to knit a shawl from the black to the red because that's how the movie goes. If you've seen the movie, if you've not, then this is probably really boring to you. But if you've seen the movie, the scene starts off like he's on that ship and it's like black and it's so dark, and then by the end, you know, it's a bloodbath. So he kills everybody. And how perfect is this? Guys, how perfect is this? And again, here's the information if you care about that. And what's interesting is Yarn and Stitches is the booth that I got this from, and I didn't even recognize that when I was there. I just thought it was a Vice booth because they had almost all Vice yarn. I want to say it was all Vice yarn. Yarn and Stitches is the knit shop that I went into, and I say knit shop, yarn shop, that I went into when I delivered my grandmother's fur jacket to North Dallas a few months back, and I bought the yarn for my Daybreak in my yarn snob bag. None of this relates to this other than I've been to their store in the flesh, their brick and mortar. So that was exciting to support them again at a Fiber Fest because they're somewhat local to me. I saw this skein of yarn when I was making my rounds at first, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I actually wrote it down. So anything that I saw that wasn't on my list, I wrote down. I lied, I didn't write this down. I wrote down the Sweeney Todd gradient though. But I wrote down, that way I could go back and easily find what I wanted to get. Another thing that I'll talk about in a minute. So, I didn't buy that yet because I forgot about this. I saw it, really loved it, totally forgot about it until way later. And ended up shopping around for a while and found this seller who was making these really interesting project bags. So this is called, do I have her card in here? A Yarn Owl. I do, because I'm awesome. Diana Couture Yarn Owl. So I saw her bags and I was like, oh look, bags. Kind of peeped around. She's got a label down in there. How cool is that? I kind of peeped around, looked at all of them, opened them up, and saw this one, and I was like, what a cool design. And you know I love that fabric. I mean, come on, it's tree fabric, rainbow tree fabric at that. Oh, love it. And it's black, so it's not going to show up dirt. But so you can either hook it up to your belt loop or put it on your wrist because it's got a snappy, or on the outside of your purse. And then it's got these two snaps. So you can put your yarn in there. Try here. Your yarn in here and knit. And it fits yarn so wonderfully. Okay? Like, how cool is that? Hands-free knitting, walking around or waiting in line. So I saw this bag and I was like, oh, that's really cool. I'm going to leave it and maybe I'll come back to it. And I walked away and walked down another aisle and I was like, you know what? That was the only print like that. I'm going to go back and get it because I really like that tree print. And that is such an interesting design. It's so cool. I just want it. And it was only $20. So I went back and grabbed it. And then as soon as I did, I literally saw so many people knitting out of these. It seems like everyone and their mother bought one of these bags at DFW Fiber Fest. So that's really cool that she was so warmly received and that so many people liked her product because it is truly an interesting, unique design. And I can't wait to use it now that I've showed it off. I also I told y'all before I even went, I wanted to go check out Jerry Brock's spindles. So I went by and I was thinking, oh, you know what? I really won't get one. I have my wheel. I hardly use it. I don't need a spindle. So I played with one and I'm terrible and awful at it. But it's a lot of fun and it's really cute and you can take it places with you much easier than you can a wheel. But also I'm very terrible at it and I don't really understand how it works. I need to do more research, watch some YouTube videos, and just get better at it. But I also got this bag from Jerry Brock. It's Texas cashmere. It's just this little bag of brown cashmere, but since it's from Texas, you know I needed it, and it's so soft. So soft. I just want to pet it forever, just keep it in the stash. So the biggest reason I wasn't able to get this is because the person that was there working her booth was using the same patterned spindle. So she's got Jerry Brock. The design that she cuts into them are different patterns. See, it's called a pattern. And this one is what comes first. Can you see why I need, oh, there's the sun. There's the sun. We'll do it over here. Can you see why I needed that? It's a chicken and an egg, okay? What comes first, the chicken or the egg? This is her brand new pattern design. She's only made 2 of these. Again, another reason why I was just like, okay, I've got to do it. It's kind of exclusive at this point. And I just thought they were so fun and so cute. I do have a little regret buying this because, again, this is like a sweater's quantity worth of yarn and cost. And I probably would have been happier, or I would have used a sweater quantity's worth of yarn a lot more than a spindle, but still. I mean, you know I'm obsessed with notions, and I really couldn't pass up this chicken. It's a chicken. So I've just been playing with it. This is some alpaca that I had, and this is some of this that I've just been playing with it, and I keep dropping it, and Atrella's like, that's why you call it a drop spindle. So yeah, I'm terrible at it, but it's pretty, and I needed it, and I have no regrets. Let's set it back there. So after I bought that spindle, I was like dwindling on funds, and I knew that I still wanted to get with Laura of Jinx Yarn. She made a post on Instagram and her Facebook that she was actually sick and was canceling her trip to DFW, and I was devastated because there was 2 yarns that I really, really wanted to get from her, and as I've said before, if there's a popular colorway from a popular dyer, I have no chance of getting it online. My internet sucks. I never remember about people's updates. It's it's not fun for me to not be able to buy yarn online when I get really excited about a colorway that I see from a podcaster. So I was so excited about seeing her at DFW, and then so devastated when she said she wouldn't be there. I actually wrote to a friend of mine, Cassandra. Cassandra. How do you say it? Is it Cassandra or Cassandra? Because you say Cassandra, and I know it's spelled like that too. So am I saying your name completely wrong? If I butchered it, I'm sorry, Cassandra. I need to mail your package, and I swear I keep saying that, and I don't. And I've actually started to put it like into the box now, so that's a lot further than I have been. It will go out. It will go out. But I messaged her. That point was, I messaged her to ask how rude it would be to email Laura and ask if I could just buy her yarn. You know, I have PayPal. Can I just send you money and you send me yarn? Because I already know what I want from you, and you were going to be there, and now you're not, and I'm so sad. I asked her how rude it would be to do that since Laura was sick, and I'm not trying to be like this, give me my yarn person, because ew, who wants that person emailing them when they're sick with the freaking flu? Like, I didn't want to be that person. So I asked my friend. She said, well, you know, it depends on how you word it. Just go with it. So I did. I worded it really well, I think. And Laura messaged me back. And she was like, well, since you emailed, of course I would be willing to do this. How awesome is that? Like, what a great person to honor the fact that I was going to be there and so excited to get the yarn. She said, just show her like my badge or whatever, proving that I was there by Sunday, and that she would do a reserve listing for me on Etsy. So I did all of that, and I have her anniversary colorway is what I was most excited about. And I asked for 2 skeins because I wanted to give one to you guys, but she said that I could only buy one because it's a limited, which is understandable. And I'm sorry to say that I'm not going to give it away. I'm going to keep it for myself. Sorry, not sorry. And also I got the lantern. I'll show it next time because it'll be here probably by the next time I record. But I knew my yarn money was dwindling after I bought the spindle, all that to say. And I knew that I still wanted to buy the Junkie yarn that I had planned to buy. So I was kind of hemming and hawing about what else I was going to buy and what else I wanted. And then I was kind of looking at my purchases and realizing my theme that I had going on, and it light bulb went off. I was like, oh yeah, I've got to go back and get that other yarn. Brazen Stitchery is a local, that sun, is a local to me dyer. She lives just a few counties over, and she actually sells her yarn in one of the local yarn shops. And I've bought a couple of skeins of her yarn from that local yarn shop. I've also bought her yarn last year from a vendor at Stitches, but I've never bought her yarn from her, and I was able to at DFW Fiber Fest. She was there, and I was wearing my Witchy Woman socks, which is also a Brazen Stitchery colorway, and she was excited to see those, so that was very fun to get a chat with her. And she had this lovely gray gold speckles, beautiful yarn. It's not really showing up, but the sun is going to be a butt and ruin my shot. But so it's this really awesome, just gray yarn, and it's called Gandalf the Gray, of course. I freaking love it, guys. I love it. And what I thought about doing was, and I was asking her, I was like, oh, I don't know what I should do with this. And I was telling her that I have a skein of her District 12 yarn. This is Brazen Stitchery, colorway District 12, and Harmony sock. And this is Paparazzi sock. So it's 75 superwash merino, 20% nylon, 5% stellina. I was telling her that I had this, and she said that she saw someone do a doodler with this colorway, with this, and something else. I think she had one of her solids that she put with it. I didn't really like the solid that she had with it, but I immediately thought of the Loop by Casapinka with these two, but then I decided that'd be way cooler to do in hand spun. And so this is going to be my doodler, and I put another colorway with this and posted a picture on Instagram, but it's kind of variegated and too much like this gray to be able to go with this But then I was looking on Etsy and I found the most gorgeous orange, mind-blowing orange that will pull out these small bits of orange out of this. Oh, come on. That's not really showing up well at all. Let me try to. Oh, you're going for a ride. So it's just a very autumnal color, but the orange in it is very subtle. And I thought that it would be really cool as a contrasting to be able to do the cable with the down stitches with the orange. So I favorited that orange on Etsy, and I made a promise to myself that I would have to get through the brioche section of my exploration station before I could buy that yarn. And then yesterday I ran into a brick wall on my exploration station and threw a fit, and I decided that I worked really hard and I deserved to buy the yarn anyway. It disappeared. It's gone. What happened to it? I don't know. I favored it on Etsy, like you do. It was there. It was beautiful. I cannot remember the shop name for the life of me because that was the only skein of yarn in that shop that I liked. I don't know whether the shop went on vacation, if that would cause something to disappear from your favorites. Does it? Because I really want that yarn, and I spent all morning this morning looking for a different orange to replace my lost one, and I can't find anything that I liked as much as that, guys. I might cry. No, I'm kidding. But I'm not, because that's kind of a bummer. But I was showing my husband a bunch of different exploration station or doodlers, and he found one that he likes, and he was like, well, if you're gonna make it in those colors. I'm not gonna do that. I'm still gonna do these, I think. We'll see. We'll see what happens, but I was excited to get this. This was my last yarn purchase, and it's Gandalf. So I've got Sweeney Todd, Gandalf, Beetlejuice, and Freddie. I had a movie day, guys. I had a movie day, and I couldn't be happier with my yarny acquisitions. And I buy as much red as I do green and purple, so I should probably be banned from red too, but I'm not a cool blue person. I'm not. I like blue, but I'm just not drawn to it to buy it. A few other things that I got while I was there. Oh yeah, I did this too. Did I mention my husband made fun of my accent? Did I mention that and how I can't say things properly? He was making fun of the way, because he was listening to some of the things I was saying, he was making fun of the way I said intimate, because I didn't pronunciate it correctly. Screw him, right? I'm sorry if my accent bothers y'all. I don't say a lot of things correctly, and if you ever want to correct me, do it, because I'm cool with learning new things. I want to be a forever student, and I'm not ashamed if I'm doing something wrong, I want to know about it. So a few things that I got. I picked up this bag of lavender, farm fresh lavender, for $3. I got all this bag. It's awesome. I'm gonna stuff little birds of happiness with it and put some sachets in my project bags. I got highlighter tape. Thanks to the grocery girls for recommending this for your project bag. One of the vendors had it there. I got green, of course, because that's my favorite color. From the same vendor, I got the highlighter tape. I got copper needles, and this is the socks I was going to do for my husband for our anniversary. I've decided I don't have time to knit him socks because of all the other stuff I've got going on. I'm just going to probably make him a pot holder instead and buy him something online, of course. But I got copper needles. They're therapeutic. Where's the little thing? Penny points is what they're called. Oh my gosh, the sun. The sun is killing me, guys. Penny points. Solid copper therapeutic needles. I love copper. I want to do my laundry room floor in the house we're remodeling. It's going to have a penny floor. But so they're copper needles, and they're really, really cool. I've only done this much, so I don't feel like I can do a review. Another Hitler mustache. I don't feel like I can do a review on them just yet, other than they make my hands smell like pennies. but I've heard that copper is really good for arthritic hands and different things. Excuse me a minute. He says sorry about that, y'all. He was having to walk through, and I just do what I can because he works from home. Anyway, I was talking about all the cool stuff that I got at DFW. Lavender, highlighter tape, copper needles. My copper needles, I haven't worked with them enough to be able to give a review, but I love the idea of beautiful needles, so I had to get them. I also participated in the stitch marker swap, so if you're doing it, you get a badge like this. If I could find a non-sunny spot. Stitch markers, Sammy. Isn't that cute? They had the same thing at Stitches too, so. And I have all the ones that I collected. So I made Ravenclaw inspired stitch markers, which these were mine that I made. And I was kind of like apprehensive about just making some of these smaller ones, but then so many lovely people said, oh, you brought usable ones. I knit a lot of lace and I don't like the dangly ones because they're not so usable. So I had people that were really grateful. Oh, that one's kind of messed up because it's been manhandled on this so many times. But I'm not going to show you guys all of these, but it was a lot of fun to do. And I want to show you my favorite ones. So I got another Texas from the same vendors that I got my first Texas from, and this mug. This is from Stitches. I was so tempted to buy another mug from them because they had a tree print, but I didn't. I was a good girl. I have a lot of mugs. This one is from them, and it's gold. My other one's silver. Love that. I also really liked the little Buddha man that I got. The cowboy hat. I got a little wiener dog charm. Love that one too, it's so cute. This is my favorite. I actually have so many favorites. I keep saying this one's mine, but that sheep, how freaking adorable. And I really like the purple leaf, and I also have a green leaf. So that's so much fun. And I mean, talking to vendors, talking to others, patrons that are walking through Market Hall and seeing their buttons and being able to swap with them. It's so much fun. You should definitely do it. I did pick up a bunch of cards when, I saw yarn that I wanted, but I didn't have the budget for it. And then to see other people and what they picked up, like Jeanette of the Bookish Stitcher podcast has a braid of fiber from October House Yarns. And now I'm like kicking myself because I didn't get any fiber other than that small bag of Texas cashmere, because I have quite a cubby full that I've really been needing to spin, and I didn't want to add to that and have buyer's remorse. But what else? I have a little bit of time. So that's all for my DFW Fiber Fest thing. But I did want to, a lot of people are sharing 10 facts about them on Instagram. And I was tagged in that, and I haven't posted mine yet, forgive me, but I will. And I was tagged by Beautiful Dye Works, I believe. That's her Instagram name. Now I'm second guessing myself like I always do because I didn't write it down. Anyhow, 10 random facts about me. So I've already talked about being estranged from many of my family members at some point or another. That was my first fact. Like I said, I want to filter what my daughters are exposed to, and I think that's a natural parent reaction. I am an extroverted introvert. I think they're called omniverts. I love gatherings. I am easy to chat up. I think small talk comes fluid to me. It's just, I like being the life of the party. If you find the loudest laugher in the room or the person squealing at the podcaster meetup, that was me. I also require a lot of charge time. I get really drained easily. A lot of times if I'm just like having a down day or an off day, people will, what's wrong? What's wrong? Well, nothing's wrong. I'm just not energetic and bubbly today, and that's okay too. I like to think that I'm really laid back and easygoing, but in actuality, I'm quite high strung and just crazy. So also, I aspire to write a children's book. I actually have one planned out that I plan to write about prudence. And I'd really love to have Atrella illustrate it. Try saying that 5 times fast. But she and I have talked extensively about it, and it's definitely going to happen, even if I self-publish it. But I'd like to actually get it published for the public. I have no idea what it takes to write a children's book. It's just something that I would like to do someday. Also, I love being outside in the sunshine. I could live outside if it was warm year-round. If I lived like somewhere in Hawaii, maybe not, because I don't want to deal with tropical storms, but I love being outside. Being outside is definitely where I feel the best. I want to be a contestant on Survivor. I've actually aspired to do this for quite a while. My mom was a hardcore Survivor fan. I don't own a television. We have a home theater because my husband's in the industry, but we don't watch television or subscribe to a television service. We do have like Vudu and Hulu and Netflix and things like that, and we do watch some of the TV shows, but it's not like this constant presence in our life. However, my mom was obsessed with Survivor. She watched every season, knew the characters, was emotionally invested in their lives. She was a nut about it, and she would always tell me that it's something that I would excel at and probably win. I'm a very competitive person, very competitive. And now that she's gone, I really think that I'm going to try to enter like a video to see if maybe I get a callback or something. It's ridiculous. It's a reality TV series. The Grocery Girls were actually just talking about what reality show you would be on. I'd be on Survivor. I would kick ass, like, without a doubt. I'd love to learn to play guitar. My husband, I'm pointing, there's a guitar right over there. My husband bought it for me 2 Christmases ago, and he didn't buy me a beginner's guitar. I have a friend who plays that says that my guitar is a hard guitar to learn on because the strings are so close together. I don't know anything about guitars. I know that I'd like to play one, go to campsites and strum along and sing a song. That's, again, a life mission of mine, play the guitar. I've never left the country. My country, the U.S., never left the country. I've been to a few states. I do want to leave the country. I used to not because I was so freaked out about being kidnapped, Hostel style, and tortured. And if you've never seen the movie Hostel, it's about a bunch of people who go to a different country and then they're kidnapped and sold because they're special and from a different country, and then they're tortured and killed. That's awful. Why am I even talking about that movie? Anyway, I met my husband through my brother when I was 16 and he was 20. Yeah, that's true too. I hate being cold more than anything in the world. It's the worst. I have a chronic illness that is undiagnosed and probably will continue to be. My husband's been on my case about scheduling another appointment. I've been to the doctor a lot in the past. Since my first daughter was born, I had a C-section with her, and I'm pretty sure that's what screwed me up the most. I have a chronic stomach illness. No idea what's wrong. I'm in pain every day, all day. I've been on many different medications, prescription medications for this, and they have horrible adverse reactions on me. I actually really hate the doctor and prescription medicines because of being chronically ill for so long and them not knowing what's wrong. I take it all in stride and do what I can and follow a very strict diet and try to watch what I eat, and still it's a chronic illness. So I have had a lot of tests, blood tests. I've eliminated things from my diet. I have anything you can think of, I've probably done. The only thing that I haven't done, 2 things, an MRI and an exploratory surgery. I have had a colonoscopy, I've had an endoscopy, I've had, like I said, sonograms, CAT scans. They can't find anything definitively wrong with me, which is frustrating because it's not in my head. It's something that's actually wrong. So those are my 10 facts. If you are still here, thanks for sticking around and listening. I know there are so many podcasts out there to watch and that are far more advanced or interesting than mine, or they sell cool things or whatever else. So if you're joining me, that means so much to me. Be sure to come to the group. I've had so many more people chatting lately, which is just exciting. I've had a lot of people reach out and talk with me. I love hearing from you guys. This is why I do this, to make connections and to like have my own little knit community when I live so rurally. It's nice to have friends that are right there watching and caring about what I'm working on. I'm just peeking down on my notes to make sure I covered everything. I was gonna do some drama llama, but I kind of feel weird talking about it. I'll just go with it. So, I am a really easygoing person. I make friends very easily. I'm very social and outgoing. I just don't keep friends very easily because I'm very opinionated and not a lot of people agree with my point of view. That's not to say that I force them or think that everyone should agree with me for me to be their friends. Quite the contrary. I am a very open-minded person. If you don't agree with everything that I think or say or do, that's cool. As long as you're not demanding that I agree with everything that you think, say, or do. And I found more often than not, people are in the latter camp. They want you to be open-minded, but they're very close-minded. And I had a friend that I was hanging out with that I'm not hanging out with anymore. And we actually met in the knit community through our knit night group and hung out several times. And then she said something that didn't really sit well with me, and I kind of said something that I knew was an instigating comment, but I thought if I could let things go, so could she. That was a mistake because she can't let things go, and we had a breakup due to the thing that I said, which I didn't think was very fair, and I even reached out after that, and I was like, hey, look, obviously we had a disagreement. I'm sorry if your feelings were hurt. My opinion's my opinion. It doesn't make or break anything that you hold in your convictions. And we could still definitely get together and chat about yarn because we both love it. No, we can't, because I felt like I was just way wrong. Like, I'm too aggressive. Obviously, it was my problem and my fault that this person's no longer wanting to be friends with me. And I've had situations like this happen in the past where I'm just a little too opinionated or a little too aggressive in my opinions, stating my opinions, that it puts people off. Well, when I went to the Yarn Fest, I actually saw this person. And I'm a smiler. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I don't like that person. I smiled. I didn't wave because whatever. But later, I was with a mutual friend of ours chatting with her, and this was the former, I won't even say who it is. It's just a mutual friend. I'm going to leave it at that because I don't want to get her in any trouble. A mutual friend said that earlier that day, when I had approached them before, I didn't even see all of the people that were in the group. I only saw the one person, so I kind of walked up. And the person that is no longer my friend exclaimed, oh, here comes my favorite person, and walks off, speaking about me coming up, and walks off. And I was just like, really? Because that's childish. Like, if you can't go to a venue and see someone that you have a familiar relationship with and be a civil person, you are a child. Like, I'm sorry. Drama llama, that is straight up childish. My daughters are taught respect for people and kindness matters, spreading kindness matters, and to like be this negative Nancy just pissing all over people's good time is how I felt she handled that situation. Because the other person that's our mutual friend told me about it, and she's like, you know what, you shouldn't even feel bad because of X, Y, and Z. And she proceeded, and it was gossip, and I feel bad being a gossiper, but honestly, she just gave me a few instances of how this person behaved previous to me knowing her, perpetuating the fact that she's just immature. She's a child. and she hasn't had children yet. She's not married yet. Those things mature you. And I'm not knocking people who don't have children or aren't married. I'm not saying that those things are the only things that mature you, but life matures you. And this person is still young. I can't fault her. But to claim that you're this great open-minded person and to not be, to be an actual child about so many things, it was just kind of humorous. So that's my drama llama for this week. Here comes Roger. Let me see if I can get him up here. I have so much crap, he can't jump over it. Come up here, come on. That's all for this week, but if I can get Roger to come up and say bye with me. He's like, I don't know. This is my Roger boy. He's my Roger. So Roger is my crotchety dog. He needs his nails clipped. Still, I need to go get his nails clipped. I was in town with him, and then my husband was in a hurry for us to get back because we had to go do something else. And Roger didn't get his nail clipping appointment. His little nails, did you hear him? Just tink, 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 all across the floor. And he shakes, God, all the time. It is a little cold in here. I just got a little cold. That's probably why he came over here to sit with me. But anyhow, that's all I have for you guys today, truly and really. It went on forever. Sorry, not sorry. I hope that you guys liked what I showed you, and I hope that you participate in my cows that I've got going on. I would love, love, love to have you participate. The hashtag for the cows are #fine and dandy, KAL, and then the Mother's Day is #Mother's Day, KAL. So join me. I would love to have you, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.